of our remastered songs.
Nice.
Titled this album Reentry because I figured, there was a few songs on there that were slated for that album
Hmm.
20 years ago or whatever. So,
Nice.
so that's Reentry is out now, right by Altair. You can check out these pretty awesome tunes that we have, and we haven't done that this season because we're just live. But
Yeah.
speaking of live, we're live again.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah. And well, I got the
that's the
light this
proof.
time. Yep.
So
Yeah.
this time I think we were going to revisit a season three topic that we kind of discussed and maybe wrap it into a little bit of lightning strikes topic that we talked about next week. Talked
Mm.
about next week. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You don't get to see that one yet because it's next week, but it already happened.
Yep.
Uh anyway, the topic was obedience and with everything going on with the military being sent into various cities around the United States and the questionable constitutionality and who the military are supposed to be sworn to protect, the president or the Constitution. And then in the lightning
Yeah.
strikes twice, you had brought up what was it,
Baby
the
bird.
baby bird
Yeah,
or
like kick the baby bird out of the nest, that
yep,
kind of thing.
yep, and
And you had brought up the idea of like, oh, if you're living under my roof, you follow my
mhm,
rules, kind of thing. So you
mhm,
can probably tie all that together.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
am not living under the roof of the United States, so I don't have to listen to Donald Trump.
Well, neither am I, even though I'm currently physically present here.
So I mean, like
So I won't do what you tell me.
the underlying tenet of the last episode we did on obedience was the whole just following orders, right?
Yeah.
That
Hmm.
age-old excuse that we kind of collectively as a world determined is not an excuse
Yeah.
at the Nuremberg trials and and yet it always kind of seems to somehow pass muster like, oh yeah, yeah, following orders, we get it, yeah.
Hmm.
But
And that's a
but
tricky one. It's a really tricky one. And actually, okay, so as an aside, I wanted a bumper sticker of the remember back in like the 90s, the ad campaign for the army was Army of One, which
hmm,
I interpreted in my mind to mean like, you're the sole determiner of like what is right and what you need to do. Obviously, you have your orders, but like at the end of the day, you're the last line of defense. And obviously, I don't know that that was their intent, but I ended up buying like a 25 pack of bumper stickers because that was the only way to get those. Um, like
oh wow,
old bumper stickers from back in the day, promotional things.
yeah,
Um, but I kind of like that concept. Like in my mind, it's like, yeah, you have to be an independent thinker, and at the same time, you have to have coordination. So it's this balance between like, okay, well, what if you get orders that are unjust? Do you follow them, or do you decide for yourself, or something like that? Um, and I think that's always the question, I suppose, because it is important for cohesion within the military and whatnot. That it's like, hey, your commanding officer is the one who tells you what to do, and you go and you do it, even if it doesn't make sense. But like,
but
there are points where it's like, hey, when it involves executing a bunch of children in a village, you got something going on over there?
oh, there's like a blood moon, and they were wondering if they could see it from this window, but kind of can't see much sky because of the overhang and
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's full moon. Yes, it's a full moon. Um,
yeah,
my
not
watch
over
is.
there, but
Well, no, but it will be.
no,
Yeah,
but it's the blood moon with the whole red moon thing and stuff. But
yeah, yeah.
it's too low on the horizon here anyway.
Well, the cool thing is here, because of the fires that are going on, it will literally be red. Um,
All the time, every day.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of nice.
Well,
Um,
to your question though, the and technically on paper, the official military stance in the United States is that yeah, like you don't have to follow an illegal order.
mhm,
It is an army of one. It does come down to the individual to determine right and wrong for them.
yeah,
And you probably do have to face consequences later because like in the moment is reality, right?
yeah.
And then in retrospect is all the bureaucracy. Well, you should have done this or that, or you should have known this or that, or you should have been omniscient. And
It's like, yeah, you weren't out there in combat taking
yeah.
fire. Well,
So I mean, like,
and this is the where I guess where I would separate it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there, but I just wanted to say I think there's a difference between a response to something going on, like you get ambushed and you're like, oh shit, we got to respond, versus a premeditated action where
mhm,
you go in and you do something, like you're the initiator.
yeah.
So
But I mean, whether it's like wartime or being handed orders to go occupy a U.S. city that's like not in war,
yeah, yeah.
which is obviously not like an imminent life or death split second decision kind of thing. Either way, you're going to face a court martial if you go against it. And that's ultimately why I always thought the military was just bullshit. Like, why I had never really gave it any consideration as a career path for me, because I know that I cannot handle injustice at all.
Hmm.
And the military is built on injustice, on dehumanizing its constituent parts
Well,
into becoming mindless automatons and like
to an extent, yeah. And that and I kind of feel the same way. Like I have this. Obviously, I grew up in a military family, so there's a certain sense of I don't know what it is, appreciation. Um, but at the same time, yeah, I don't think I could take up arms against somebody who didn't like directly do something wrong to me.
mhm.
If a politician decides that I should go take a rifle and shoot a guy on the other side of the planet, like that's bullshit. Like, no, I just couldn't do that. Um, it, yeah, oh man, Jesus, yeah, this is getting me thinking. But well, so now the occupying force kind of thing is National Guard being activated in various states, and it's a proposition. It hasn't happened other than in DC, and DC is not a state. It's federally controlled, so that's fair. Like they're well within their rights to do that. But yeah, going into Chicago or
Right.
something, like, well, now I think posse comitatus rules and stuff like that. Like they can't go in with arms, so they have to be unarmed if they're there. So if you see the National Guard activated in Chicago and they're carrying rifles, shit's going down. Like that's a problem. But if they're just there, just standing around and stuff, and they don't have any guns,
I mean,
whatever.
weren't they like picking up garbage in DC because they're like, well, we've got nothing else to do.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
The
Well, that's
crime we're here
typical.
to stop is not here. It didn't show up today, I guess.
Well, and it has made an effect. I think it would have an effect having like, and there's people who I, we in
I
the
mean, of
US.
course it makes an effect, but the point is that the crime was at a 30-year low. It
Well,
was like,
those stats are kind of fudged, by the way, so it's not
I mean, they
exactly
are
accurate.
now.
Well, they changed some things and stuff, so it's like I don't even know really what the truth is. I guess we'll find out later. So I wouldn't jump to any conclusions. Don't use your jump to conclusions, Matt, just yet.
Yeah, I mean,
But still,
yeah,
like, okay, whatever. It isn't a state. That it's a federal district, and so whatever. Okay, that's fine. Um, I I mean, crime is a problem, though. And what do you do? What uh, you know?
I mean, that big of a problem?
Well, I mean,
Like that's like a drastic overreaction to something like that. Like
it is.
even Chicago, which like is known for a bit of on the higher end of
It is.
crime, right?
Yes, it is quite high. Yeah,
It's not really like top five or anything. Maybe in the
it's up
past
there.
it was. I think it's maybe in the top 10 or something, but um, usually it's like Detroit or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, Detroit, Memphis, those are still up there. Um,
Yeah. Hell,
but
even Seattle is kind of high on the list.
eh, but like uh, that's also kind of a product of just people being packed in a sardine can too. Like
It
it's
is. Yeah.
unavoidable to have conflict in close quarters.
Well, and an argument to be made too is poverty is a huge factor.
Oh yeah.
Um, and also the war on drugs is a huge factor.
Hmm.
Um, like where are the rum runners of today? Oh, there aren't any because alcohol's legal.
Right.
Like where's the Al Capones and stuff? Well, they don't exist. They're crack dealers and whatnot. It so I think taking a different approach. It's like I feel like this is the like what we're talking about is kind of the product of somebody who doesn't really, or I guess a group of people, and this is not limited solely to this particular administration in the U.S., um, but a group of people who don't really comprehend how things work, and they're basically they're not addressing the core causes of things. They're looking at the surface level and like, oh, well, there's crime. Well, we need cops. Like, well, okay, why is there crime? Because there are places with a lot of people in them that don't have crime. Like, why don't we take the scientific approach and analyze the differences? Like, well, what's different between here and there that makes there be more crime here and less crime there? Like, uh, okay, maybe in the moment. Again, it goes back to that whole you're taking fire, you got ambushed. Like, okay, well, shit. If there's people having shootouts in the streets, okay, well, maybe the military is a good option just for now. Make an exception
Yeah.
to like put the fire out.
To my knowledge, that's not happening anywhere though,
No,
like you'll have
no,
isolated firearm incidents, yes,
yeah.
but full-on shootouts in the street, nah,
It's basically gang related,
not
and
even
that
Detroit.
no, well, I mean there are, but it's gang related, and we know that isn't like basically, in my opinion, if all drugs were legal, gang members would just be shop owners. That would be basically it.
Right.
They'd
Right. Well,
open a
exactly.
shop.
That's actually like you hit the nail on the head. The true way to eliminate crime
Yeah.
doesn't involve force at all. You just make the things that are illegal not illegal anymore, so long as they aren't crimes that involve actual victims,
Well,
you
and
know?
you can look at like a case study. A good one would be Portugal. They decriminalized everything, and they
Yeah.
said instead of trying to enforce, we're going to treat people. That it's going to be like a mental health, a treatment process instead. Instead of like bringing the cops in with guns and handcuffs and shit, we're going to focus on treatment. And they decriminalized everything. And well, what do you know? Drug use was like cut in half. And
Yeah.
it was a huge problem there. Heroin, oh my god, it was a huge problem. And now it kind of isn't. Like,
It's the Star Trek episode with the shields, right? Like
yeah.
when like if the thing glomming onto your shields is the crime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the shield is the thing that's going to antagonize or not, depending on how much you flex it.
Yeah.
And and this is a situation where like the crime attached to our shields isn't trying to actually hurt us. It just wants to do its drugs by itself, right?
Yeah.
And so by raising the shields, we're just like creating a bigger problem. Now, if there's a situation where like somebody like let's say the thing glomming onto our shields has a gun pointed at us and they've gone click, so you know they mean business. Um,
And they do it a couple times, maybe rack the slide like two or three times.
then then you have to raise your shields, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it may cause some friction, but like if you don't, like you just get shot, you know.
Well,
But in the other situation, like you're not really in any danger. You're just saying that's a bad thing because you're fucking scared for whatever reason, you know?
and
And,
yeah, and it becomes like a feedback loop too, where like it becomes exponential,
mhm,
and that's the problem. And there's a point where we just need to take a step back and be like, hey, this obviously isn't working. Uh,
mhm.
and so we need to take a different approach. And going nuclear is a stupid approach, in my opinion. Like, I
Yeah.
get it. There are a lot of people in politics who don't have a fucking clue. So that's what they're going to do. They're just they live in a bubble, and they don't they're not, they've never actually experienced life on the street. So they're like, well, the solution is obvious. We just incarcerate people and we have more enforcement and whatnot. And it's like, okay, well, sure, that's fine as like a test, a scientific test. If you want to see, hey, we'll try this and see what happens. But if it isn't working, then you have to come back and be like, well, obviously that didn't work. Well, and we have decades now of like post dare program bullshit to prove that the war on drugs is an absolute failure. So, okay, let's come back and come up with a different solution, I guess.
Well, and along those lines, now you got them like at least in DC, like criminalizing homelessness,
Yeah.
and it's like, wait a minute, rather than spend the money to put them in some kind of subsidized housing, you're going to go the even more expensive route and throw them in prisons?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
I know. I well,
what is
and
it like a $1,000 per day per head or something?
yeah,
Like
yeah, it's insane. And
worse
okay,
than a hospital
in the
almost.
short term, that would be feasible. It's like, hey, there's this problem. Let's go and analyze the causes, like poverty, obviously. Well, in mental health, poverty, they all kind of that's the homelessness thing. Um, let's stop it, physically stop it in some way, clean it up, and then let's go back and analyze why. Let's find the answers, objectively find the answers, not some stupid politicians,
Yeah.
man. I'm telling you,
I don't know.
it pissed
That's
me off.
overkill if you ask me. Like, I don't see that fixing anything. It's making things worse. Like you don't need to like it's a victimless crime situation. Like it's not a crime. It's not a crime at all
Well,
to be
no, and
like
that's
they
true. And
tried
there's
criminalizing homelessness in the 30s or something, like around the Great Depression,
yeah,
and
no,
didn't
I
go
don't.
over so well, you know?
Well, it's like criminalizing addiction.
Yeah.
We should not do that. And I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating for criminalizing homelessness. It's like it isn't like, oh, you need to send the cops in or the military in to deal with the homeless population. No, okay, we're gonna do some kind of big thing to just clean it up, get everybody where they need to be, and then we're gonna go back and address the core causes of all this stuff. I mean, it comes down to
They never do step two,
economics.
though. It's always brush it
No,
over there, brush it over here,
I
you know.
know. Yeah, and like I said, politicians, man,
Mm,
like they don't have an interest in solving problems, and it's really annoying, and it's inhumane.
yeah,
Because like, well, you just end up with more of the same. Like, hasn't Seattle spent like a couple $100 billion on the homelessness crisis? And there's like more homeless people now. Like, where is that money going? Well, I mean, I think somebody ought to be
that's
asking questions.
that's a very good question. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what I wish people would be pointing out every time somebody offers up a solution and they're like, "How are we going to pay for that?" When that solution often costs way less than what we're fucking spending already to just
Yep,
move the shit to a different corner each time, you know?
I know.
It's
Well,
ridiculous.
there's that musician in LA, I believe it was, who uh saw he's like he felt really bad about the homeless people and was talking to some of them and stuff like that. And so he put a team together and they built tiny houses for some of the homeless people. They built as many as they could build,
Hmm.
and then they set them up in in public spaces. Maybe that's problematic, but whatever. And then the city came in and they and like so I guess the most heartbreaking thing is that a lot of these people, they were so grateful that like, oh, I finally have a place where I can store my things. I can sleep safe at night.
Yeah.
It had an address on it. Like it just felt like home. It's like a step up. You just like, that's all you need. And then the city came in and confiscated everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, maybe the city should come in and be like, hey, that's not a bad idea. Why
Right.
don't we expand on that? The city more than likely has a bunch of unused property where they could,
Exactly.
and you could just,
Relocate the houses rather than like letting them collect dust or
mm-hmm,
destroying them or whatever the hell they did. Like that
yeah,
that pisses me off to no end. Like if I were that musician, I'd be like, "Okay, city, you owe me money now
mm-hmm.
because I put time and effort and money into that and you just fucking wiped it all away." Like
Well, and it comes down to like the rules versus it's the obedience thing. It's the
it
rule
is.
versus human beings, actual people,
Yeah.
people who are living that
Mhm.
should be cared for in some way. Like we should all be stewards of the planet and of our neighbors and whatnot. Like that is the calling of humankind. And if you're a religious person, well, Jesus would want that too. So you
Yep.
better step up, bitch. Um,
I
and I
I
gotta
I
say,
think yeah, with obedience, like I think it's time that all of us, not just military or employees, all of us need to take a look at the law and say, you know what, if it's right, I'm going to do it,
mm-hmm,
even
yeah,
if it's illegal. Like,
yep,
And yeah, I know we're going to be demonetized for advocating breaking laws, but you know what? Fuck it. I don't care about your stupid rule,
Yeah,
YouTube. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to say the right thing
yeah.
because if it's right, do it. If it's wrong, don't do it.
Hmm.
If it's illegal or illegal, that is irrelevant. That's
Yeah.
all bureaucracy. Like,
You know what I would love to see, if the military is going to be sent into cities that have problems. Um, I'd like to see them maybe keeping the peace for one. Just start with that. Keep the peace. Just be there and be like, hey, you know what? Hey, get along. Hey, no squabbling. And then we have the Army Corps of Engineers and stuff like that. Build tiny houses. Build
yeah,
out those spaces, and then like at least that would be nice. I was going to mention, because I brought up Jesus, that there's a church down the road that they have a little tiny house village. They cordoned off a section of their property and they built some tiny houses to house the homeless. Um,
it,
like,
I mean, it's great that like you hear like a handful of stories about Good Samaritans doing things like that, but they
mhm,
shouldn't have to, and they really ought not to be the ones that we're depending on and hoping for when the ability to do it in a coordinated and even a legal fashion, like playing by their own rules, like the infrastructure is there. It could happen. It
yeah.
just doesn't because fucking take your pick, lobbying, like
The
corruption, like
the
blah, blah, blah.
corporatocracy,
Yeah.
like gets in the way of everything. Yeah, it's all about like control and who knows what. It's a myriad of uh, reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, well, as we've talked about in the past, we do technically live in a post-scarcity world.
Hmm.
Like, uh, like we have the technology. we, we could
Oh yeah.
have limitless energy, limitless food, limitless water, like limitless shelter. Like, it is totally within our
All,
capability
yeah.
to do. But
We
we're
live in a post-scarce society, at least as far as basic human needs
yeah,
go.
yeah, the basic stuff. Yeah.
Like maybe we can't build as many yachts or supercomputers as we would like to, but food, water, shelter, all that
Yep.
stuff we got it covered.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah. Well, absolutely, and it's only getting better. We're only
mhm.
getting better at that. And like, why aren't we doing that? Because conflict, I guess.
Because we've failed as a species to work together
I yeah,
in the way
I
that, like, we honestly, there's no excuse not to at this stage in our evolution.
mhm.
Whatever is coming toward Earth, if it's an alien ship, I hope they're coming to slap us on the wrist and go, "The fuck are you guys doing?" Like, like, like
Like,
we planted you here thousands of years ago, and
mhm.
by now you should be out in the stars. What the hell are you guys
Yeah,
doing?
y'all are like still in low Earth orbit, man. What the
Are
hell?
you seriously telling me you were playing the Pratt version of humans?
Oh man, yeah. I it well, and I it's a perspective thing. I think that the people get so caught up in their own circle that they ignore the rest of the world,
Hmm.
and and that becomes the focus, I think. um and you have your social circles and systems and all this stuff, and then like with government, essentially, let's say government, the corporatocracy, it becomes, it's so well established and so entrenched that it its sole existence is predicated on perpetuating its continued existence for no
Yeah.
reason.
Mhm.
That's it. Like, it doesn't do anything except keep itself alive. And like, okay, well, maybe when you're talking AI or something, shit, AI is another thing. Like, it, and adding another element to the post scarcity concept, education, mental health, um, AI, and even YouTube. Like, you have all the information you need at your fingertips. The internet can provide an education, a really good education, but oh no, we got to go to the shitty one that the state says we have to go to, which they just, it gets more expensive and it gets crappier. Like,
AI, I'm using AI more and reading more about it, and I think my opinion on it is kind of shifting more negative. Like it's not really what it was cracked up to be. It's also when you kind of think on a critical level behind the scenes, it's probably just a huge collection tank for metadata on us.
I
Um,
yeah.
so
Well,
I don't.
anything that's free, you are the product. Just keep that in mind.
Mhm. But I
So
mean, the amount of valuable data that it can collect about us, our
yeah,
mental health, our weaknesses, our illnesses, our kinks, whatever. Like it's,
yeah. However, you can't deny that it has a massive potential
I
to be
mean,
beneficial. Like, it
it's
expanded on over the course of a couple more decades,
yeah,
you know?
it's effectively just, I mean, people use it this way, but that is kind of all it is kind of like an interactive Google. Like
Yeah.
it just searches the internet and its information is as good as the search. It's
Hmm.
and how critical it is in analyzing what it finds in its searches. I don't know. Maybe it's better than the average person, but
Maybe. It
maybe
depends on the
not too,
algorithm.
because you get some hinky information sometimes.
Well, AI
Uh,
does hallucinate, so
yeah.
that's always the risk there.
So
Um,
I mean, like the bottom line is you cannot trade education and critical thought. Like
no, no,
we
no.
we we
But
cannot lose that. I mean, we've already lost it, but we really got to get it
yeah, no
back
kidding.
before the people that remember it die, and then
Yeah,
then what, you know? Like,
that's a good point. Wow, imagine an entire generation raised solely on AI.
I think the point of where we're being directed like cattle is to be dumber, a
I
lot dumber.
no, I agree, and this goes back to the obedience factor, that like
Hmm.
the like
Yeah. Well,
seed of the
the smarter
episode.
you are, the harder you are to control.
Yep.
So,
Uh-huh. Critical thinking and stuff is being bred out of people.
yeah.
Like, the elites definitely want to have their I don't know, fancy place, like the utopia, uh on our backs.
Yeah.
That's what they want. And they're actively working towards that. And and it's like, I talk conspiracy theories all the time. I love conspiracy theories. Well, I this is sort of a conspiracy that I think is actually happening. Like, not like mustache twirling evildoers in a dark, smoky room colluding together, but it's sort of like a sort of loose collusion that just kind of happens because you're in high society and you want to
Hmm.
maintain that. And so the powers that be will support the things that push the average person down and raise them up. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just natural, and I think we ought to fight against that. And I think the only way to fight against that is knowledge.
Oh, yeah. I've been noticing a lot lately that all these really cool scientific discoveries lately have been coming out of Europe and Asia,
Hmm.
and all the AI focus is coming from the US with a few outliers here and there in the big cities of, like London and Paris and China and stuff. But that's about it. Like everything
Yeah.
else is pretty much AI is coming out of the US,
China's not a
getting,
big city,
getting
by the
dumber and
way.
dumber.
Beijing
And
would be the.
yeah, yeah. But
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, like I mean, I think China or Japan came up with like a coin-sized circuit or something that can like generate electricity from thin air with no moving parts. And
This
it's
is
like,
going back to Tesla's ideas from back in the day.
yeah,
Like, we ought to be celebrating that.
right.
It, but also, it should be like a competitive thing where it's like, we're just trying to outdo the other guy. Like, because I remember back in the day, I mean, it was like a soft competition, but you and I, when we were roommates in like 2003, we'd go for a drive and listen to CDs of music that we were working on.
Yeah.
And it's like I would hear stuff that you did and I'd be inspired. I'm like, wow, damn, okay, I better step up my game. That was a good one. That's a banger.
Yep.
So it would encourage me to make something better.
Hmm.
And I feel like it was kind of a back and forth sort of thing.
Yep.
We need more
Oh
of
yeah.
that.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
like, I,
Well, that's because we were just concerned about making good music.
yep.
Like
Hmm.
I was, I had a shower thought the other day about competition. Like there's really like two different kinds of competition, and the one that most people think of as like being the good reason for it is actually kind of the biggest detriment. And
Hmm.
and that's this whole like using competition to drive innovation. Like I think innovation is best driven by need, like filling a void, like thinking of an ingenious creative way to make something that doesn't exist yet, rather than seeing someone else's idea and trying to find a way to get around their patent and make it so you can make more money off of it than they do.
Hmm.
Like that's not really competition. That's just
Well, if,
profit
the
eating
financial
and
incentive can't be ignored. There is that aspect, and I think it's valid, but it should be friendly.
no question. Like a financial incentive for coming up with something brand new.
Hmm.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Like that's well earned, well deserved. You came up with something that filled a hole. That is a constructive move.
Hmm.
Now, like coming up with a slightly better version of something we already have isn't necessarily constructive. It's more like polishing, which,
Well,
okay, like it,
it's
it might look nice and stuff,
it,
but it's not really benefiting us in as much a way as filling
no,
an empty void does.
and that's like what you're talking about. There is basically the engineering process, which is also really important. Like we
Yeah.
shouldn't rest on our laurels. Like, well, okay, I guess this is good enough. Like the toilet design that we came up with 100 years ago is the best design ever. Like we should be looking for new ways of improving things, and even small. And engineering is all about small incremental improvements. Um, so that's valid. Like it's the big picture. Like all of this stuff counts. It all does. And we should be appreciative of that. And I think healthy competition, kind of like, you know, I don't know if you ever played baseball, but like at the end of
Yeah.
a game, everybody walks past and shakes hands and like good game, typically, and then, but hey, it's the sentiment that like it's a game and it doesn't matter who wins or loses. I'd like to see more things like Nobel prizes, I suppose, where like if you come up with some kind of really innovative solution, you get the prestige of this particular prize, whatever it is, because you did something that people thought was impossible, and that would be good. We need more of that,
Yeah.
and that should be like almost baked into our social structure of like, dude, if you have one of those medals on you, you're like, wow, you're the man or
Yeah.
the woman. Like, we need more of that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I suppose in a way, all this like competition stuff does tie in with obedience because, like, at the end of the day, a lot of these people just have jobs and they're kind of just following orders on what to do. Like,
Yeah.
uh, and even like, I've worked in research before. Like, when you get a job at these places, you sign a contract before you begin work saying all of your ideas will be their ideas.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you don't even get a chance to like get inspired by yourself and work with your team to make your idea become something cool or
That,
useful for the world. Like your idea basically has to die, or
yeah.
maybe you just give it away and let them run with it and no one knows your name. But either way, like it's not really um, giving you much incentive to be that person, right? To be
Well, and
that,
it breeds out competition in that regard.
yeah,
Like, yeah, I don't like the idea of a company owning an employee's uh, designs, I suppose.
yeah,
And like, actually, here's a good example. I've been known to design things at my place of work, and retail locations. Uh, they wanted to change things up and change the cash register layout, and so the facilities people designed these cash registers, and I took a like they were like, okay, here's the design, and I took a look at it and I'm like, that's shit. So I went into Google SketchUp and did a bunch of research and stuff, and like, standing heights, like what's the that kind of thing, and redesigned the entire thing, and they ended up going with it. um even though it
hmm,
was a more complex design, but it's like I accounted for the things that I knew about, like, oh, the employees are going to want like a little cubby over there to stick staplers and whatnot. They're going to want drawers over there, and there should be a backing board, and it should be rounded and not square. So you don't want to cut customers. That's not good. So they built these, and we installed many, many, many of these. And I remember the regional manager. We were opening a new store, and she's like, "Wow, that looks really good." And I wonder who designed that. And I'm like, I did. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I this is my design. But you never get
ah,
any
swag mode.
accolades. Yeah, exactly. Hmm.
I mean, yeah, just to be recognized for that is sometimes nice, but like,
No, I mean, what else do you got?
yeah,
Maybe I don't know, give somebody like $1,000 bonus or whatever for like coming up with a good idea, like,
yeah,
and then send out a mass email like, oh wow, Eric, he did this cool thing, um so everybody can appreciate that, and then you feel like it's worth it,
yeah.
because if you don't get that, if you get swept under the rug and forgotten, well, then I'm not going to do it again.
And
No.
showing that appreciation shows all your other employees, hey, if I have a good idea,
Yeah.
it'll be noticed and
Yep.
appreciated.
and
And
and even the dumbest person on the planet can come up with a good idea,
Hmm.
like it, and you know that makes it worth it.
There was, I saw a quote recently. I think it was a politician in Germany or something. Somebody from America like came up to them and asked them like, "Wow, how did you guys come up with all these great ideas?" And the person from Germany was like, "Have you tried educating people that can't afford it?" Like, I mean, that's what I say all the time is like, there's this huge pool of untapped potential
Mm-hmm.
that all you have to do is like hand them an education, take care of their health, like give
Well,
them the room to thrive and grow. And before you know it, like we will be leaps and bounds as a society, a human species, like
well,
better and
and
better and better.
and giving people recognition for accomplishments, that's important too.
Hmm.
Now, speaking of education, like I was talking about earlier, like it actually literally should not cost a single cent to educate people. We have free tools out there. We have, I mean, even just YouTube alone, if you just had like a warehouse building with some chairs and desks and laptops and stuff and a network, you could educate kids, give them a very high quality education with YouTube alone. Like it wouldn't really cost a whole lot. You know,
Yeah.
this fucking school books that they keep reissuing and it's $200 a piece and stuff. It's like that's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you start with critical thinking, because there's also a
Yeah.
lot of bullshit you got to sift through on YouTube,
Well,
you know.
no, but that's where the teacher could curate things.
Yeah.
That's the important factor. Is like that would be the teacher's job, I suppose.
Hmm.
But
I
like,
mean, yeah, I mean that would be like supplanting textbooks for Wikipedia or something, like like yeah, there can be correct information, but
yeah, there can be. I mean,
like
Wikipedia is pretty good about self-policing, but not perfect. Uh,
yeah.
well, and
I'm not
there have to.
against like organizing and regulating education, but it needs to be done well,
Well, and
you know, like
so does everything we're talking about.
hmm.
Like the goal is the key, and the goal currently is to keep the elites in charge and keep us plebeians down. That's
Yeah.
basically what it comes down to. And I also want to bring up something too that people should be aware of. Um, Somebody like Mike Rowe, who did Dirty Jobs, and because we had kind of talked about some of that stuff, and that people look down on the garbage collector or the sewer inspector or the roofer or whatever. But it's like these are the people who keep things running. These are the builders. These are the repairers, the plumbers. Like it, if there's a leak in your house, the plumber will be the hero. So, like, it isn't bad to go into that line of work. Like, we don't all have to be engineers and scientists and stuff. Like, there's a lot of value in being somebody who just does something base level. Um,
Eh,
and we need to encourage that in society. Like, hey, we should celebrate the people who are digging ditches and laying asphalt and stuff like that, because it's like, well, imagine a world without those people. What if there were no plumbers? What would that world look like? Like there'd be shit in every house. Like,
there's there's something to be said for the way Germany handles education, because they definitely like understand that need and prepare people very early for that.
yeah,
So there's like there isn't really like middle school, high school delineations here.
Mm-hmm.
There's there's like three different levels which you can go through.
Mm-hmm.
So so there's kind of like if you want to go like the absolute, like lowest amount of education, but go into some kind of trade or whatever that doesn't really require a whole lot of education, just some training, then you go to the 10th grade and
Mm-hmm.
then you get a little training for your job and work that job.
Yeah.
Or you can go up to the 10th grade and then choose something that takes a little bit of education, akin to a trade school. This is what my daughter's doing now. Um, and
Good. Good.
you have the option at the end of that to then go to a university if you want to,
Mm-hmm.
or if you know that's what you want to do, you go through grade 13, not even 12, and then you go to a university. So they've really got like three runways, and you can kind of hop between them if and when you're ready to.
Mm-hmm.
It's super fluid and like really cool actually. Um,
As it should be, because like here in the States, the problem I detect is that we're told, well, you better go to college. Otherwise, you're not going to amount to anything. Um, like going to a trade school is looked down on. But like, okay, I know a lot of people who went to a 4-year college who are basically making minimum wage. And I know some people who went to a trade school and they're like roofers and they're making a six-figure income. They have a huge house, like they're doing
mhm.
pretty well. Like I garbage collectors too, like or school bus drivers, or like it's like these are important things and we should be supporting that because it's part of supporting our infrastructure. And like, how is that bad?
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, you're just a fucking garbage collector. Like, oh, well, yeah, you know what would happen if all of us just stopped working? Imagine a world like that. Like,
Yeah.
it is absolutely vital. It's super important. All this stuff is super important. The electricians and stuff, we should be supporting all levels of everything.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, like
even
the
people that,
only gripes I have is that Germany tends to be a little bit uh, have a little tunnel vision in that regard. Like they kind of want you to then stick with it.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's not like you can't hop to another career, but usually it's not even going to be a lateral move. It's more like unless you retrain in something or go back to
Oh
school
yeah.
for something, it'll be kind of like a step backwards.
Well, and that I think is a failing of the education system, and this is global. Some are better than others, and this is where we need science,
Well,
right?
I see it as a
Um,
cultural issue,
mhm.
like not valuing education or analogical thinking,
Well,
like the ability to apply your experience in another field and have it be just as valuable, if not more,
yeah, exactly.
because
That,
that's a thing. Like
oh,
that's a thing
and
I've
that's
built most of my work on. Like,
super important. Having a fresh outlook, uh,
hmm
very, very important, even if it may not be correct. Um, like sometimes throwing things at the wall, something sticks, and you're like, wait a minute, huh? I hadn't thought of that before.
Yeah.
Uh, it, it well, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's a problem with education, though, that we don't we don't properly prepare people for life because education in a lot of high level states is not built around that. It's around essentially slave labor, um, So you're just smart enough to do the work, but not so smart that you could figure your way out of the problem.
Right.
Um, and yeah,
Well, that's what we need to do as like the little people, the people who are expected to be obedient, is
mhm,
we need to take a critical look at what the people who are successful are doing. And, you know, most of the things that they're doing to get there are things that are not like exclusive to their education.
yeah,
Like it's really just about having enough money and then knowing what to do with that
connections,
money. And yeah,
connections as well. That like
like
that's a
I
factor.
over the last couple years, I've been studying more and more like just the little moves that rich people take to stay rich,
Hmm.
and I'm looking for ways to like creep into that with what
Yeah,
little I have, because like that's really all they do is they get a fat sum of money somehow from a rich uncle or whatever, and then they just invest it and then fuck off and do coke and whatever, and then everything
well,
they do, they think like, well, I'm successful, so what I do must be the reason I'm successful. And
to, to be fair, there's quite a few successful people who did actually bust their balls to get there. But I will say, in my
quite a
travels,
few, but not the majority.
well, in my travels throughout time and space, the and maybe here's I guess a word of hope for other people out there. In my travels throughout time and space, many of the successful people, the most successful people that I've known, are pretty dumb.
Hmm.
And I've known some really, really smart people who are like homeless,
Yeah.
just living in a shelter or something like that. Like it doesn't, you don't have to be smart. You just have to be observant, I think, and learn how to play the game.
Yeah.
Uh, so, like, kind of what
Cunning,
you're talking about.
cunning might be the better word for, like, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, in nature, the creatures that survive are not the necessarily the strongest. They're the most cunning.
Hmm.
So learn to be one of those.
Yeah.
That's that. There you go, and that's fucking free. Like you don't have to spend any money to
Yeah.
do that.
And I've got to say, like, I definitely have that knack because I've never had a lot of money, but I always found a way to scrape by
Same
and
here. Same
make
here.
money
Yep.
appear out of nowhere
Yep.
somehow, but always just enough.
Yep.
Never in excess, never an ability to save
Yep.
anything. It was always by the seat of my pants, but like by all accounts, like if I would just be like, yeah, well, I don't have the money. Like I guess I just don't pay the bill, or I guess I'm just homeless. Like rather than that, I'm like, okay, I got to think creatively.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and don't give up.
yeah.
And you know maybe and I think this might be a bad advice, I guess, but also good advice depending on the person. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you can make it happen. And because like being like being absorbed in a negative energy does cause a person to hyper focus on that and ignore the potential avenues that you could use to escape a situation or improve a situation where like you're so caught up in how bad things are like woe is me, oh, probably gonna rain, that like you won't bother to even investigate things or try something and also try stuff like it, take a leap of faith,
Yeah.
That's how so many discoveries have been made.
I would elaborate on that a bit because like I'll agree that like self-defeating and being
Yeah.
like there's no point in trying. I'm not even going to try it. Like that's useless. That's
Hmm.
just as useless as being like complacent when you're at the top. Like no,
Or
you can always
overly
do better.
optimistic too.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's all
Yeah.
tied in. Yeah.
Like being complacent at the top is kind of like being overly optimistic. It's like,
Mhm.
everything's all good. I don't have to worry about shit. It'll never go sideways. I'll always be at the top. And then
I'm dealing with a friend right now who is in that exact situation.
yeah. So like my particular angle is always seen as pessimistic, but what
Hmm.
I my process is especially if I'm already in a shit situation, I want to foresee any other shit that might come my way
Yeah.
and plan for that in my plan to get out of the shit that I'm in.
Hmm.
Like because anytime I haven't, some shit that I didn't think about comes and complicates
Well,
things.
and
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 then you're left dealing with
a
that.
good statement that I think might be military in origin. I don't know. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you should always be wary of things, like especially if it's going too good. But like, yeah, be ready because
Mhm.
things can go south at the drop of a hat. You never know.
Yeah.
And yeah, man.
Yeah,
Well, and
like with money for instance, like spending most of my life having just enough and having to very carefully watch my budget and balance my checkbook, like literally with my checkbook in my hand back in the day when checks were
mhm.
a thing. And I'd be at the grocery store, I'd write a check, and I would just stand there after I bagged the groceries up. I would stand there and balance the checkbook before I even left into the parking lot, because like
Yep.
I wanted to make sure I know how much money is actually going to be left at the end of the day. And
Yep.
like
And
but
that
I don't really forget that stuff now, like even though I'm not so like on the edge, I still watch that stuff because it's
and you should
important.
never rest on your laurels, like
Yeah.
because the tables could turn at any moment.
Hmm.
So yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, if you're like a millionaire, and well, I mean, I guess today you need to be a billionaire to really
Pretty
be
much.
somewhere.
Or at
Uh,
least 100 millionaire or something.
yeah, yeah. Like you should never forget that. Um, I learned lessons from DuckTales, from Scrooge McDuck.
Mhm.
And there were some really good lessons in there, and maybe that should be part of school, teaching people. Wait, but
DuckTales?
it, DuckTales, yeah, yeah, why not? Woohoo! I like I, but the what I see though, because my observations looking out there, all these people struggling to make ends meet, to try to find their way to whatever, like it's a product of a shitty ass education. Like we should be teaching our kids better. And we should also be teaching them to not be subservient to the system. But the system, of course, is the one that's teaching the kids. So there's a problem there. There's a reason why there's like assigned seating and school bells and schedules and whatnot.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Speaking of DuckTales, I prefer the Darkwing Duck approach.
Oh, Darkwing Duck. Man, that theme song, dude, that is such a good
Oh, eins, Risiko.
oh yeah, yeah, I remember we watch like all the different
Yep.
international versions. Yeah.
Now that I know German, that you know what he says there instead of "Let's get dangerous."
Huh.
2, 1, let's take a risk.
Huh.
Counts down from two, not three.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, hey, he's in a hurry.
yeah.
The bad guys are fast approaching. Can't waste any time there. Oh man.
Good times.
Yeah. Jeez.
Oh, and then there's the Spanish He-Man. People have to watch that one too.
Yo soy He-Man. Oh man. Highly encourage watching that. By the way, just as an aside, the interrupted transformations video is gone now.
Oh yeah, I still look for it every so often, just in case. Like, I'm still trying to figure out which friggin' episode it was.
I know.
Like, there's only like 120 episodes or something. Like,
Yeah, what happened to
I
I am
read through, yeah, I read through all the synopses. Like sometimes if I'm just like bored and I want to watch things on YouTube, I'll go look up He-Man synopses and try to find that friggin' episode.
Mhm.
Like any episode having to do with water, I'll go watch it. I'm like, God, this isn't it either. What
I
the?
know. I know. And it's like that video was created like I think it was like 2005 or 6 or something. And it's like, okay, well, today I would be like, oh, that was an AI generated thing. But we didn't have that technology back then. So it has to be a real episode.
Maybe this is our Mandela effect. Like,
Dude, it could be.
didn't it disappear around the same time CERN kicked
It
in?
it did.
Huh.
Snap. Oh
What the?
man.
Okay. Now I wish I didn't get rid of my He-Man DVDs because this calls for a marathon.
I
Uh,
know.
I I want to find that now because maybe it doesn't exist.
I this is why you should always archive if you can. I mean, it used to be easy to download YouTube stuff. Not so easy now, but like if you find something, save a copy. So you can go back and look at it and be like, see, I knew that was real. But then well, and then if you go and you look and it doesn't exist, it's like, well, shit. Oh man.
Oh,
Well, I have to go be a plumber. So there is that.
well, I would
Speaking
help
of
you, but
dirty
I'd have to go
jobs,
back to school for that here.
yeah. I hate being a plumber. Dude, I like give me electrical work all day long. I could do it. No problem. Plumbing, I detest it. But
Hmm.
hey, if somebody's in need of help, that's me. It's like I'm the helping people person that like, okay, well, I have tools and some skills. I'll come and help you, come to the rescue. Um, we need more of that too. And,
Yeah.
and and this is where like the education system should support that. Like everybody should have like a well-rounded level of experience. I would say too, by the way, um, maybe maybe it might tie into a whole lot of things with obedience and whatnot, and the military and politicians. Everybody, when you're going through school, should have a class where you basically work in retail. Like that's
Hmm.
your class. You go to McDonald's and you work at McDonald's, or you work at like the UPS store or a Domino's or something like that. You work in retail as part of your education. Like, and there'd be people who would argue, oh, well, that they'd be getting free labor. Oh, yes, but also it's kind of expensive for the company because like you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So they're like, wow, this is an enormous drag. But everybody should have to be in that position of working a minimum wage job where it like coming thick and fast, like left and right customers, and it's all crazy, and you just gotta soldier up and do what you gotta do, and you gotta fucking swab the decks, and oh well, you're on bathroom duty today. Like everybody should have to do that. Like clean up the puke in the bathroom or the poop on the toilet or whatever. Like we should all have to do that so we can respect the people who do that. And even at the highest levels, like if you're a billionaire, you're going to be like, oh man, I remember that. And I remember like having to scrape the fucking puke off of the urinal um, and stuff. Like, and I think that would go a long way to bringing humanity closer together. Um,
The question I think everyone needs to ask themselves, and this is probably is telling enough to whether or not you'd ever be a billionaire or not, is if you were a billionaire and you were asked to scrape the shit off of a toilet, would you
yeah,
just pay someone to let you not do it?
I'll tell you what. If there was a billionaire, let's say somebody who runs a company and they go in to check out one of their locations or something like that, and somebody's like, oh man, I somebody had like I don't know, their ass exploded in the bathroom, and the billionaire is like, okay, well, hand me the mop and bucket, I'll take care of it. I would have mad respect for somebody like
Yeah.
that, and there are people like that. They'll get their hands dirty. Like we need more people like that.
I haven't seen that yet on Undercover Boss, but
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, you're right. Like most people would just pay somebody.
hmm.
Um, I
Or they'd be like, "Oh, guess what? I'm the boss. The prize. By the way, I'm gonna take off now. Uh, you got
Yeah.
this, right?" Like,
Well, like, hmm, I think we should expect that of people. And people like, let's go back to obedience. People in the military, like, you should not be a general if you've not been a grunt, like somebody on the front lines experiencing combat and stuff. You shouldn't be able to bypass that. Um, because there's no way. Like, I mean, obviously, people are just gonna tell people to do things that, like, oh well, this is a high level thing. We'll tell
even
people.
even in times of the draft, I don't think they could though, right? Like
I,
you could only like be drafted in at a certain level of rank, right?
well, no, there were ways, like college education and stuff like that. You could potentially skip some of that,
Hmm.
which sort of makes sense, but it goes back to the philosophy of like, okay, I want everybody to experience a shitty job. Everybody should have to like mop up a bunch of poo in a bathroom or something like that, so that you can like get the full sense of things and respect the people who are doing that work. And maybe, just maybe, you'll take better care of things because you're going to be like, oh, yeah, maybe I don't want to do an upper decker in that bathroom because somebody's going to have to clean that one up. And I remember having to do that.
Actually, that's something that I never understood in MASH was like fair number of them were draftees.
Mm-hmm.
And so like
Oh,
Hawkeye,
MASH. That's such a good show.
BJ, BJ and before him it was Trapper.
Mm-hmm.
They were all captains, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they were like the best doctors. But then the other draftees like were majors and they were like they thought they were really great doctors, but they weren't as good as Hawkeye and
Yeah.
how did they assign rank to these
Well, I mean,
draftees? Like,
it was a TV
you're a great
show.
doctor, you're just a captain though. Like
I mean, it was a TV show, but it does. I think it highlighted some of the like. It was a very clever show. Like they highlighted some things that needed to be highlighted. That yeah. Oh man.
which was also a great show for snubbing obedience in the
Yes.
military.
Oh yes. Yeah. Well, in fact, if we were to recommend something that falls in line with this episode. Watch MASH.
Hmm.
That is, good God, one of the greatest shows. It's up there with Star Trek, TNG.
Yeah,
Such a good show. Holy crap. Oh my God. Yeah. So, well, I think we're beard out for today.
yeah.
Hey, Skib.
So tired.
Yeah. Well, hey, I don't know how many people have been watching. I didn't see any comments, but
Zero.
yeah, that's
Big
all
fat
right.
goose egg today.
It's all right. It was a good episode. So,
Yeah,
people will come back and rewatch this one, and it's a good one. But leave your comments down there. What do you think? Um, Maybe leave comments like what should we talk about next time? That would be a good one.
yeah,
Give
yeah.
us a topic.
We're
I Man,
we're
I
running
missed
low on
that.
ideas. Well, not really, but
No, we got plenty of ideas. That one that we did, the double live, was so good.
that was awesome.
Yeah. It just showed how good we are at like adapting to the unexpected. That was great. Well, if you're ever in the States, we can do another one. Or if well, I can't really sail to Germany, can I? What? Maybe.
You could.
Yeah, that'd be a
I mean,
long
if
trip.
we
And
took a few months off the show,
yeah, well, because I'd either have to go all the way down under South America or go through the Panama Canal, which is really expensive. And I don't have that kind of dough.
try to
Uh,
find the Northwest Passage.
oh yeah. Well, then take a couple of years off the show. Then, oh man, yeah.
When I
But
was a kid,
anyway,
I would look at a map all the time, and I was convinced that I could somehow find the Northwest Passage on a charted map. It didn't really occur to me like, well, if it were charted, then somebody would have already have
somebody
found
would
it.
have found it. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're capable of picking up your boat and walking a little while, you
That's
could
what
do
the
it.
Vikings did. Like, you
Yeah,
got Viking blood, so what's stopping you?
I do. Well, I don't
I
know.
mean, they made much lighter boats, of course, but
This is true. Yeah. And they had more people.
yeah,
Uh-oh. Floyd's saying it's time to end the
been a while
episode.
since I heard Floyd
I
yelling.
know. Well, let's let him come up here because hey, buddy, come on. Hey, come on. You Everybody loves Floyd. Come here. There he is. Hey, Floyd, you made your appearance now. Yeah. Face for
Welcome to another kitchen sink meowscapade.
Meowscopy. Yep. Oh man. All right. Well, that was a good one. I don't know. Like, geez, we went down so many paths. I can't even fathom uh, what sort of things people should comment on. But obedience. Um, yeah, I think it comes down to fuck you. I won't do what you tell me.
Rage Against that machine.